In today's video, we're going to talk increasing LTV in info and coaching businesses. I'm going to share these green ones right here, which are things we actively do in our women's fitness coaching business that did over 30 million in cash collected last year. Orange are things we're actively working on. As you can see, always a work in progress. And purple are going to be things that are moonshot ideas that we aren't currently doing but could do into the future. Then we're going to drag them down here into the front and back end of where you can sell them in the sales cycle, which is very important. And then yesterday's updates. I make these videos every day. I believe it's day 32 of doing this, and share buyers, cash collected, Stripe, and just a general update of where we're at with our business. Like I said, 30 million cash collected last year. Everything on the channel is what did work, what didn't work, and what we're actively doing to scale, all with the goal of finding top talent, opportunities, and networking with cool people doing the same thing. And all I ask is to subscribe so I can get some feedback, comment with what topics you want, any ideas, and like the videos you like. So let's get into it. Now, I believe this is a Dan Kennedy quote, but whoever can afford to spend the most to acquire a new customer wins. And what this means is just really increasing your LTV, because over time, as advertising costs go up and competition and all of that, you need to be able to make the highest dollar value per customer, because as your CAC rises, you still need that margin. Very simply put, okay? And the simple ways to increase LTV are the frequency that someone buys, the value of what they're buying, so essentially like the AOV, and then the retention is how frequently do they buy. Okay, so frequency and retention can kind of be back and forth, especially in info and coaching, but I'm going to go into that. So this is what we're currently selling. We have a low ticket info. I have all the funnels and all the stuff on the channel so you can see them, but low ticket info. So for us is a $37 product. Now, if we just sold this, the LTV of a customer would be $37 only. And if we never sold them anything else, and if our acquisition cost was $30, we would only have a $7 margin across our entire everything, and we would go out of business because we're not even selling them for $37. And that's where the customer acquisition math comes in. Because for us, let's say it costs $100 to get that $37 customer. We know that the LTV of that customer is actually 10 grand. So the spread on that is fine. And how long does it take to get there in the trough? Okay. So $37 info product that then ascends them up into high ticket coaching, which for us is $7,200. Again, on the channel, I have videos going through all these funnels and math and all of that. So high ticket coaching, and then high ticket coaching renewal. This is literally the only ways we make money right now, which is not good. But I'm going to show this. Like, we had a huge conversation about LTV brainstorm last week, and I'm going to go through all what we're rolling out. But what this model looks like is you're selling a ton of low ticket. So you sell 100 low tickets. Of those 100 low tickets, call it 4 of them buy your high ticket coaching program. And then after year 1 or whatever the term length is, 1 of them renews. Okay, so you have a 4% ascension rate and you have a 25% renewal rate. Now, backing into that math, call it, I can't do the math on that quick, but let's say it's $5 grand. That math may be completely wrong, but call it $5 grand, and your cost to acquire customer blended is $1,000. You have a 1 to 5 return on ads. Right? Great. How long does it take that cycle to hit? The renewal dollars don't even hit until the second year. So if you're actively spending on ads and you have to pay your bill, like, not the vibe. Okay. So that's what we're currently doing. And our acquisition or our new ROAS has not been the best over the last year. Like, when we scaled to this 30 million, we went from 10, or I believe it was 12 the year before. It was like 10, then 12, then 30. And this is what broke. Our acquisition tied with our LTV broke because we're not selling them enough things. We're not retaining enough, and our ad costs and acquisition costs were increasing, and we were not the smartest cookies. And yeah, so we're here now. But so what we are actively talking about and trying to build out is recurring low ticket info and community. So what can people pay $50 a month, $100 a month and continuously buy, right? Because then over time, if someone pays 3 months of it, the LTV is $300 on that person. What is your churn on that? All of these have their own math. Graduated high ticket coaching. So this is something we're actively like building, and I think is going to be live this week. So as of now, when someone is complete with the program, call this $7,200 or $7,000 that they pay for the first year of coaching. On the second year of coaching, we just say, hey, do you want another year of the same thing? And obviously like a more beautified sales process and approach, but overall it's more of the same. So they're just renewing just as is. They're getting the same coach. They're getting the same idea. They're getting all of that, all for the same price. And actually for us, it's $1,000 less. So $7,200, then $6,200. Okay. So that puts them in the whatever, 13K bucket. We have customers that have paid us 28,000, 30 something, I think, or maybe over 30 now. We have some customers. The average is not even close to that though. So what we're talking about doing is rolling out a backend like graduated product, because this is fitness specific, but a lot of the time with fitness, and Hormozy says this, half the time I feel like these videos, I should just say, go watch Hormozy videos. He's like a huge part of my info diet. So, but in fitness, people who get the result and don't get the result often leave after the term. So someone who gets the result and has the info and education, it's like the hard part with info and education, which is, I guess, a little different than fitness, is somebody gets the result or learns the thing and then they leave. So unless you have something else to teach them or you have other reasons they stay, which is a big part of where I'm going to go here, is they'll just leave because they got the result they wanted. They paid their $5,000 for this, they got it, and now they're off to do the next thing. And if you don't have anything else to sell them, which is a big issue that we've had, is we're not selling them enough things. Even if they ask for it, or we're referring things out more than we're selling our own thing. We're selling things of our own. Okay. So what this looks like is group coaching style model for us in fitness. You can do a lot of different things like internet marketing and masterminds and backends and stuff like that. But for us, it would be group coaching. So instead of paying $7,000, it's like a downsell, but in continuity. So they'll be paying $3,000, $4,000 a year to then be in a group. So they keep the community. They do keep accountability with the coach, but in a group setting because they don't need the one-to-one personalization stuff as much anymore, but they can still get it from the group. But then fulfillment for us drops from this to this. So the cost to fulfill on this, as well as then obviously the cost of the customer, cuts in half. So as long as you can lock in the margin, because another Hormozy comment, but he always says, I think it's GP LTV, I believe. It's like the gross profit LTV, because what really matters is if we sell another year of something and we have 0% margin on it, or I'm sorry, yeah, like zero margin on it, it doesn't matter if we sell them more things. It's not actually contributing more to overhead or to the bottom line. So in this model for us, we would have lower fulfillment costs and we would be collecting less cash instead of charging them the same amount and having less. So we got to come up with the math on that to where it's 10% in fulfillment costs, because we can do it one-to-many with a group versus one-to-one. So the cost structure would be better. So this one's going to be huge for us because right now our retention is not as good as it could. We also had this huge issue where we were using external financing that actually was allowing 24-month financing on a 12-month product, which is like so stupid, but we had that for a long time. So we have to like weed through those because right now they'd be paying 2 for one. So low ticket add-ons and order bumps. Right now we're selling this low ticket info and it's $37 straight. We have no order bumps, and there's a reason we don't have OTOs because we're trying to get them on a phone call, which is the actual OTO. It's like the call to action is to book a call. So that inherently like leads to the ascension, which does increase the LTV, but actual just add-ons and order bumps could get this to a $50, for example, offset $10 to $20, depending on, how much these order bumps are, of our low ticket unit economics, which would be huge. Supplements. For supplements, we've tried this in the past with partnerships and it hasn't worked for us. We're talking about how to do it. It's a whole nother business to run in itself, but adding supplements is an MRR, right? Because it's a consumable that's recurring, right? So they're buying it and they're continuing to buy it. So as long as the margin's there and it makes sense, it's just how much time is it going to take us to devote it. And we've tried this with partnerships. I made a video on this. Great company. The deal just didn't work well between us. So coming up with something there for supplements would be huge for us, because now that we're doing more volume with low ticket instead of 500, 400, 500 customers a month with high ticket coaching, which to us just didn't make sense because it's more of a volume play. It's a recurring volume play, I guess. And then now it might make sense for us. And then partnerships isn't just a doozy of one, because it's basically what else does your customer purchase, and or what other business has your exact same target demo, and how can you bridge those? So it's like, terrible example, but like Medicare, beauty spa, like someone who would have a 40 to 60-year-old woman in there as their target demo. Who else would that be? And who else could we refer out business that we could make $1,000 because they're willing to pay $1,000 customer acquisition for us to make an intro, or for us to get a new unit for them as a new purchase. So this one could be huge. We just don't really know, and we want to protect the brand identity. And we don't like to do any there's a ton of other things I didn't list on here, like selling data and like splitting lists and doing all that stuff. I don't jive with that. Like I like our brand as is. So we're doing that. But software, these are the Moonshot ideas. Software, right now we have them use a couple different softwares that are like on the marketplace that we technically could build ourselves, but that in itself is a huge business. Ask anybody, like, to have your own software business would just be a nightmare, but the LTV and the actual business itself could be a lot more scalable, higher margin depending, and then also exitable. So that's like an interesting thing, but it would more so be an offshoot. So these purple ones are things we're not doing right now but are interesting. Clinic add-on, this one actually is kind of orangish, but there are other people in the space who do this with high ticket coaching. Say it's 5 or 10 that you pay for the first year of coaching with us. You could pay 12 or 15 and get like a clinic, like dedicated, I don't want to call it a doctor, but like a dedicated like health facility add-on where you can get all your blood work, where you can get all like the testing stuff done. That would be an add-on in partnership. So it's kind of like a hybrid of these and this, because it's like an add-on to that. So like I said, order bumps are an add-on to low ticket. There are other things you could add on to the high ticket coaching, like a clinic add-on. We just, again, brand is super important to us and like quality. So we don't want to just like bolt onto somebody that it doesn't work, because we kind of did that already and didn't love it. In-person masterminds and events. This is what already everyone in internet marketing does for their LTV. So a lot of the time, these are recurring, high ticket, 30 grand a year. And then you get to go to in-person events and a mastermind. So for us, in-person events, I could actually split these up, because in-person events we could do. It's the structuring, it's the management of the event, it's the cash collection of it and fulfillment of the actual event. That is the hard part of that. And it's probably not that big of like an LTV boost, but maybe, because it likely would be included in the coaching. And if it was an added thing, like that would be a whole nother offer structure. And masterminding just doesn't really work for us, because there are people in fitness, there are people in a ton of internet marketing who do this, who's like, that's their whole business model. It's like, teach them the thing, have the higher ticket coaching thing, and then it's like, oh, you you ascend into the mastermind, and then you're at XYZ level, and it's like new information. It's like what's hot now, and just steady doing that. And these crush. I just don't specifically see that working in like 40 to 6-year-old women for our business model. Especially when they're all in different places and spaces in life. Like there are fitness companies that target a specific demo or like business owner or stuff, that it would make sense to have a mastermind, because they can bond over the fitness, they can bond over like the lifestyle, and then they're all entrepreneurs or like high performers. So they can all talk about that. You can have speakers that come in that are all about that. But for us, it just doesn't really make sense. So now let's rank these out into where you can sell them. So low ticket info, obviously front end. High ticket coaching, we sell as a front end. A lot of people would put this on the back end from this. So like, I guess this is both, because for us, the funnel literally looks like low ticket to high ticket, but we're selling it in both. High ticket coaching renewal is a back end thing. Recurring low ticket info and community. It might be a downsell for us actually, like on the back end, if someone wants to stay in the community after they've paid for the high ticket coaching, because that's what they value. They want the community calls. They want to see the people, like they've made friends. That might live in both. That's why it's kind of funny. Graduated high ticket coaching. This is essentially this, but the group coaching offer. So that's all back end. Our sales manager is talking about selling it on the front end, but we don't want to use it as a crutch. So not right now. Low ticket add-on. These are in the part of the front end funnel. Supplements could be both, but that's like a whole different game, because you could go direct response and do it heavy there. So likely for us, it's just going to be like a back end included thing. Partnerships is always going to be back end, because we're not going to run ads and sell that on the front end ever. Software. That also could be a front or back, but we're going to put it on the back end, because it would be our customers who use it, especially like in the beginning. Clinic add-on, that is technically would be an add-on direct to here. So that would be in there. And then in-person events and masterminds would be back end. So as you can see, this one we're going to put right here, just so you can see like what I mean by this. So front end, what you're actually only selling, and what the entire acquisition model is based on, is mass amounts of low ticket and high ticket coaching, generally through like VSL call funnels. And then all of this is made on the back end once you've acquired the customer for the first time, with these as your core front end. And then again, these are like clumped together, but that's the model. And we don't do a good job, right? You see how much orange of this there is. Like we are leaving tons of money on the table by not selling them more things when they even ask for it. Like swag is a great example. I should have added that in here. So swag, I guess that's green because we do have it. But we have failed on doing swag like 9 times. And finally we have one that works, and we make no money on it because like it's just not a part of our business that we were trying to make money on and never would. And like we don't have the volume to do it. So we'll make like, $4 a shirt or something after shipping and everything. But it's just like a storefront that's there, but they ask for it to the level that like they'll do group orders of their own like customink.com shirts until we had our own, because they love the brand so much and we weren't providing that for them, which is not cool, right? Because that is an LTV boost. It's small, but it's but it adds. Same with supplements, all of these. So that's our general gist. Appreciate you guys sticking around. Yesterday, 8 high ticket buyers, 75 new record right here on low ticket buyers. This number is low for us based on the calls. We were over I think it was a 12% sales per booking though, which is good. And then cash collected only 50 grand yesterday, which is not good, right? That's 1.5-ish trending for the month. We need to be in the 2s at least to be like okay, and then 3+ to start scaling and like making into our heavy profit like we did last year. So all of this is a gentle build back. Low ticket's crushing and the ascension rate is hitting, so I'll do a video update on that. But yeah, like I said, subscribe on these. I need to know that you guys are into these or not, or I'll just stop doing them. I'm just trying to share some value. Comment. That's where this video topic came from. So if you guys want to comment any topic ideas that you want, or Instagram message them, I always leave that in the bio. And then yeah, like the videos you like, and then leave the other ones alone so I can see which ones are the good threads of what kind of topic points. So talk soon, guys. Bye.